What is going on, everyone? Mr. Mom Collectibles. I am back with another video. This is one I've been wanting to make for a few days now, and it is about the Blitzway Ghostbusters. Now, if you were following the news of what's going on, Blitzway has put out a teaser of the prototypes of what looks to be updated versions of the original 4-pack Ghostbusters. What I want to do is go over the things that I have seen. I got some photos we'll go over, along with some video footage that was taken at the latest Wonder Festival. And so what we will be taking a look at is basically the things that I have noticed owning them, the obvious things that should be upgraded, and then the nuances that I noticed so far. Now, at the time of making this video, they are not officially up for pre-order. They have just been put on display. So once again, I want to stress, this is not a pre-order preview video because we don't have them officially up. We don't know, pricing, when, where, all that stuff. That I will address at a later point. This is more about, what are the differences? Because I really haven't seen any comparisons thus far on what has been upgraded from the original pack to the new 4-pack. And now let's dive right into it. So what I want to start with are the original product photos from Blitzway. For those that are, don't recall, this set was offered actually in two. You had the 4-pack with the ultimate, deluxe edition, and then you had the 3 Doctors, which basically was, minus Winston, which that has made Winston the most desirable chase out of them. For those who maybe bought the 3-pack and then, missed out on Winston, his value has skyrocketed, and pretty much always has been. He was the most valuable one because of that difference of Blitzway breaking up the set. Now, that being said, the 4-pack came with the 4 Doctors, but also it came with an accessory box. Inside that accessory box, you also got Slimer, a stand for him. You also got the no ghost symbol that hung outside the firehouse that lit up with a little stand. You also got a blue barricade that was at the end of the movie, plus a whole bunch of other, like little knickknacks and things. And you also got the Ghostbuster banner that was on the firehouse when they first started, prior to the no ghost symbol. And then the individual Ghostbusters came with like newspaper clippings, magazine articles, things like that. So there was a lot of like paper goods that came with the figures individually inside those boxes. But like I said, that deluxe piece came with Slimer, the barricade, and the no ghost symbol. So right off the bat, and then if you got the 3-pack, you got basically the 3 Doctors minus Winston, and then you got the Slimer. So they gave you a little bit of stuff with both. And the photos here just show basically up close of the Proton Pack, the stand, which was the stand for the figures, which were really awful, that a lot of people didn't like. And then here's just a breakdown once again of the 4-pack, and then this is the 3-pack with Slimer. Now, going on Sideshow's archives, I was able to pull the pricing for the original 4-pack, and that retailed at $896. That is before tax and shipping. So that was just, nowadays, that's just an unbelievable price for what we know they are now. So what we're going to be taking a look at is some video footage from the Wonder Festival in Shanghai, offered by Ramen Toy. Now, I want to give a shout out to him for this because he put this footage up on YouTube, and I will definitely link all of their YouTube information in the description below. This is really the only best footage that I was able to find from the event. This was actually shot, I think it was on his phone, and so he was walking the booths. I think it was the night before the actual event, and was able to get some footage here of the Ghostbusters. Initially, the first thing that really popped off for me was the head sculpts. Peter and Ray have retooled head sculpts, and they actually even show 2 alternate ones on display. Those scenes are very iconic. The first is when Peter is yelling into the walkie when Slimer's about to hit him, and the other one is when Ray sees Slimer for the first time, and the cigarette is just about to dangle and fall out of his mouth, which the cigarette looks like it's sculpted onto that one. But if you want to swap to have alternate, like more neutral, they give you that option. Then we have we have Winston and we have Egon, which both look to have retooled head sculpts, which we will look at that comparison later. Now, instantly, my eye just starts kind of digesting everything that we see here. Right off the bat, the uniforms are updated. The zippers are different, which then tell me the tailoring. The suits also look a little more form-fitting, but there's definitely different zippers on the uniforms, so obviously those are new. The sculpts are all new, including even Egon and Winston, and looks like even with that, updated paint applications. I'm also noticing that the equipment all looks identical. The offerings, the gloves are the same. The Neutrona streams are the same. The cigarettes there. You have the hand for Ray with smoking the cigarette. You have the ghost trap. They also have the PKE meter for Egon and the watches. So all that's the same stuff. And there's the ghost trap. And then I was looking at the proton packs. The straps for the Owl's frame look to be a slightly different color, a little more of a more true color compared to the old ones. The proton packs here, once again, everything looks to be about the same from what I can see. Once again, if you are familiar with, there is the GB1 ribbon, which they have left off the ribbon D-clamp cable, which is supposed to be on there. Those who know Ghostbuster lingo with the proton packs know what I'm talking about. So that was a miss on the original. The decals, they're still missing the decals on the end filter, and there's a couple decals that are missing on the packs that were excluded from the originals as well. Those don't look to be updated, but there is majority of stuff is there. I'm assuming, because we don't see wires, these are probably battery operated the same way you would pop off the Alice frame and actually install, which was like kind of like a watch battery. And so that is probably the same, because I don't see anything, they're not lit up, but I would hope that we would have had like a USB of some sorts. Everything, like I said, they're just initial jump outs to me. Now, what is interesting to me is what is not being shown. What is not being shown here is really the accessory pack. There's no Slimer, there's no barricade, there is no ghost symbol. There's no paper goods like the newspaper, the magazines. None of those paper goods are offered. I don't want to say bare bones, but you have the figures, the hands, the individualized pieces like the PKE meter, things like that, Ray's goggles, all that, the cigarettes. So you have all like kind of like the bare basics, but you don't have those additional accessories. The trade-off is going to be those head sculpts that you have for Ray and Peter. Now, will Winston and Egon get special sculpts? I'm not really sure. I don't think we need them. I think those two expressions are really nice, and I like, Peter's is okay, but what's interesting about this is that it kind of gives us more information about present toys, because it's almost like present toys, I feel like, knew something was coming, because those figures, which are third party, they're pretty much, as of right now, almost direct recasts. All of the equipment and everything was recasted from Blitzway, and if people recall, they debuted a Screaming Peter sculpt, which a lot of people laughed at, like, what is this? And now here you go. It's almost like they knew what was going on and they recasted this. So Present Toys is going to be an interesting company, because thus far, a lot of stuff that they're showing ends up becoming legitimate from licensed companies like the Terminators, the Ghostbusters. I wonder if they got a little scoop onto what's coming up, and they're kind of jumping the gun and putting out their own versions before. But like I said, also the bases are different. They look to be more like an oval style base. They're not the square, and I don't see any there's a little hole in the backside of them for like a clear rod. But I haven't seen, anything that's alluding to, like you said, the original bases, which a lot of collectors who have those Ghostbusters, those things were just absolute garbage in terms of they were just a pain in the ass to put together, and they just never really worked and held the figure up, I thought, the right way that they should. Now, these are the official photos. We're going to go through in a moment. These are just stills from that same video. So as you can see there, it breaks down all the accessories per figure, the group together. As I said, just alluding to the stuff that's not there, which I thought was interesting. And like I said, those suits look a little more tailored, a little more form-fitting. Now, some of the things I expect to be upgraded, obviously the paint application, because the old, the figures previously were like 10 years old. So I expect paint applications just to be naturally better. And then you have, like I said, the tailoring and things like that. I expect just to be naturally better because of upgrades with technology, and, artistry basically just gets better over time. So that is something that definitely jumps out at me. But like I said, this is a phenomenal set. We don't know pricing. We don't even know officially when these are actually going up for pre-order, if. And then what happened was, after this event, I think it was like a day or two into the event, Blitzway actually put out an official photograph of the group, which we're going to look at in a moment, along with individual photos. Now, this is a quick little reference I did. So on the left-hand side is Ray. That's my personal figure from my review. And then on the right side is the Blitzway version. You can see the sculpt, even the neutral Ray. It's an updated sculpt. The paint application, you see the zipper there is definitely more accurate to the actual flight suit. So I just wanted you guys to see those differences. And once again, the tan, I think the green on the Proton straps is darker on the original left versus the right, having a much more olive green, which is more accurate to what the LC1 Alice frame was. And so that's really cool to see. Now, these photos are official Blitzway photos. Here are the 4 Ghostbusters. These are from Blitzway themselves. And then what I did was I just did a quick comparison of those versus the original promo photos so you can see what the sculpt differences look like. So this is Ray and Peter together, and then there are the new on the right and the old on the left. And just like I said, the paint application, everything like that just looks just much more upgraded. Like I said, the uniform you can see is definitely different. And then here we have Egon and Winston compared to the new ones. And I know Winston definitely probably deserved the most upgrade because people felt the paint application was too dark on him. And so I know a lot of people were getting him repainted. And even Egon, you can see the old version of Egon, he had a little bit like of a smirk with his mouth. And so that is definitely retooled, as well the glasses, and even the hair is more accurate to how Harold Ramis was portrayed in that movie. So ultimately, these are the things that I have seen so far. They might be minor to some. I was kind of feeling around on the Facebook groups about how people felt about this. And those who have the original 4-pack, they feel like, as of now, that there's no need for them to upgrade. Those who never owned it, this is a home run for you to pick these things up. In terms of pricing wise, that's going to be really interesting to find out. As I told you, the 4-pack with Slimer and all that extra stuff was $890. And so if I had to guess, which I don't like throwing numbers out there and I do not know, I would, given the state of, inflated pricing, the way things are now, cost of everything, I would be shocked if this 4-pack was less than $1,400. I would be really shocked. And then on top of that, are we getting just the 4 Ghostbusters and not getting the additional accessories? Is Blitzway excluding Slimer and all those items to try to keep some value for the original? I know when Hot Toys does 2.0s or they do upgraded versions, they usually do different things compared to the original to try to retain some value for that specific piece. So I wonder if that's what Blitzway is going to be doing here. And then also Blitzway, in their promotional photo, they teased the Ecto-1 in the background. Now, I don't want to start rumors, but I did see online others have already contacted Blitzway about is there any interest in them revisiting the 84 Ecto-1, and apparently customer service of Blitzway has said that there is no, that's not in the plans as of now, but I just don't know if I see them lending that information out so easily just via email. So you never know. The 84 Ecto-1 might be on the queue to come out as well. Don't expect that to be the original price, but nevertheless, for those who skipped the Afterlife version and wanted that one, we may see that down the road. Who knows? But nevertheless, I will definitely be on the lookout for if these things do go up for pre-order. Definitely we'll have better photos to look at, and I'll be able to get a more in-depth see, what are the differences and if there's any further upgrades. But let me know what your thoughts are below. If you're someone that has the original 4-pack, do you plan on upgrading, or are you content with the way that it is? Or if you're somebody that doesn't own this yet, are you going to be jumping on this regardless of what it is? A lot of collectors feel that this is literally the ultimate grail, so to speak. And it also kind of diminishes that word now because, I mean, amongst other figures, this is the pack that a lot of people never thought would get touched by Blitzway. If anything, maybe Ghostbusters 2 figures. So the fact that now this ultimate grail is potentially on the verge of being, released or upgraded, it really, I don't know what else couldn't, not come out at this point. So once again, that's just something to think about when it comes to backwards purchasing and just being really cautious about pretty much anything. I think the last piece that would shock me is an 89 Joker. That is probably the last one. Harrison Ford we got, now the Ghostbusters. 89 Joker is probably the last of the quote-unquote grails that have not been touched yet by Hot Toys. So we'll see what happens. But until then, this is Mr. Mom Collectibles. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a like on the video. Please consider subscribing to the channel if this is your first time and you enjoy this content. And I will see you guys in the next video.